what my chapter's about, it's chapter 10. It's marketing, public relations, cementing the brand. And that's really what it's about. It describes what marketing PR is, and I kind of shorten that to MPR. And we give it a very simple definition, which is using public relations to achieve marketing objectives. Pretty simple. It's a relatively new concept. It's really just been in the last 10 years or so that we've started to see a lot of companies using MPR in their marketing campaigns. Unfortunately, a lot of marketers don't have any PR background, and they end up using PR tactics in a very non-strategic way. They pump out a lot of press releases with no news value, so no news organization is actually going to pick them up. They put on events, or they create media stunts that don't really reflect the message they're trying to get across with their brand. So they end up with campaigns that fizzle out, or they have no measurable results, and then sometimes they say, okay, this stuff doesn't work. A lot of them have also started moving into social media, starting putting Facebook pages together and whatever, but with no real strategic direction of what they're trying to do. So my chapter really tries to address how to strategically plan for marketing PR. It covers a lot of other topics, like how MPR differs from other parts of the marketing mix, how it differs from advertising, and even more traditional PR. It talks about some organizational issues, some sort of building conflicts between PR and marketing. Talks about the importance of media relations and really finding news values for anything that you're going to do in a marketing campaign. It talks about creating buzz using social media, but it really focuses on the trust factor and the importance that that plays in making creating a successful MPR campaign. It also talks about branding and creating a big idea that ties in with the rest of the marketing campaign. So it takes a very integrated approach. So that's what the chapter is really all about. The key points of the chapter deal with the concept of using third-party endorsers. Traditional marketing focuses on the customer, and sometimes obviously media that the customer listens to. But marketing PR goes beyond that. Marketing PR really wants to focus on influencers and really understand what's important to them, because there's been a lot of research, and the chapter goes into a little of it. I know Edelman has a annual research program that they call the Trust Barometer, and it really gets to the heart of what do people believe. And people are significantly more influenced by a third-party comment. A newspaper reporter who says this is a good brand is far more believable than an ad that says, buy me, I'm a good product. And people believe their friends and peers more than they would a traditional ad or promotional campaign. So that's a key point within the chapters, the importance of third-party endorsers. We give lots of examples in this chapter of successful campaigns that have come up with useful information or found things that are important to those influencers that they want to pass on, become either a viral campaign online or that the news media wants to pick up and cover. So that's a really key part of the chapter. Marketing PR is a much more subtle form of communication. Most advertising campaigns, sales promotion, direct marketing, they measure their success against sales increases. And marketing PR really focuses more on attitudinal change. Have we increased your trust in us? Have we improved our reputation? So you can't really measure, in the short term anyway, against sales. And a lot of marketers are uncomfortable with that. And so they really need to understand the importance of that trust building and the longer term time frame that marketing PR has. The example that I give lots of examples in the chapter, but the example that I spend the most time on is a very sort of famously successful campaign that Unilever did with the Real Beauty campaign, the Dove Real Beauty campaign. It started about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's still actually being used today. It started as an advertising campaign where they picked quote, real women to be the models in the ads, which was a very unusual thing in the beauty world. But they immediately saw the PR implications of it. So the PR firm Edelman helped to develop a whole separate PR campaign around that. So starting with using those models as spokespeople for the brand. Just using real women was such an unusual occurrence that every major news outlet in the country ended up running stories on it and interviewing a lot of those women. They also started doing some social marketing. They tied in with some nonprofit groups that were really interested in helping preteen girls get better self-esteem, and so they created some website materials. They added, gave a lot of money for educational materials, things like that. So they really honed in on those important messages to their target group. Now, but I also talk about the fact that there's another kind of downside, sort of negative thing that happened with this. Unilever was so successful with this campaign that they got a lot of accolades for being sort of really interested in real beauty and real women. Unfortunately, they also own a brand called Axe, which is aimed at teenage boys, that totally objectifies women, is very sexually oriented, has all kinds of really racy content on the web. And it gives a completely inconsistent, opposite message to the Real Beauty campaign. And so Unilever, as the parent company, took a hit for that kind of negativity. And I personally think that their brand, as a corporate brand, was hurt a little bit by that. I think Unilever just happens to manage the brands, lets them sort of do their own thing. So I think Axe has been able to sort of maintain its own identity, and the Dove product line has been able to keep itself separate from that. But the parent company, I think, has taken a bit of a hit because there's inconsistency in those messages. So personally, I would have liked to have seen a PR person more involved in the marketing plans for those two campaigns, so that they might have helped to avoid that inconsistency. What students need to know going into marketing PR is that just having PR skill alone isn't really going to cut it. And actually, a lot of journalism, former journalists go into public relations, and that often makes sense because they really know the media. The trouble with going straight into the field of marketing PR without any real marketing background is that you can kind of be sidelined, not be part of the strategic planning process. So that a student wanting to go into this field really has to pay just as much attention to learning marketing skills and understanding the terminology in marketing as they do in public relations. So it's not all just media relations and knowing how to manipulate social media. You really have to understand strategic planning and marketing concepts. I think I have a quote in the chapter that talks about the fact that public relations really should own social media, because social media is a tool for third-party endorsement, which is what PR is all about. So in one way, you can look at social media as simply a tool of marketing PR. It's a tool of more traditional PR that you might see, in a corporation who's trying to communicate to the community or to its own employees or to stockholders. It's also a tool of advertisers, where they'll put on cute games and sales promotional activities using social media to sort of create a buzz about that. But marketing PR really can use social media as a tool to really convey useful information. Again, marketing PR is all about trust and reputation and helping that brand be something that a consumer would trust. I think in advertising, you want to say, buy me. In marketing PR, you want to say, trust me. So you want to use social media to have those third-party endorsers, friends, family, peers, experts in the area, bloggers who understand a particular topic, have them be speaking for you in the most positive way possible. And the way they're going to do that is for you to be able to give them information that they need and can use and want to pass on to others.